Hey, Liam Wood here at LearnTheHarmonica.com. Today I'm talking about the circle of fifths. I'm going to try and demystify it because it can be a little scary, but it's a really useful tool for harmonica players in particular and for music in general. So I want to try and make it make sense for you. So let's build one and explain as we go. So the circle of fifths is an arrangement of the 12 notes of the Western scale that helps us understand various things in music. So we arrange them around a circle and we're going to do it in order not of notes in terms of C, D, E, F, G, A, B, but in a different order based on an interval of a fifth. So what that means is 5 jumps up a scale. So if you take the C major scale and jump up from the first note to the fifth note of that scale, that will give you the next note around the circle of fifths. So in that case, we go from C to G. Now again, if we take the G scale, we can jump up 5 notes from the first note to the fifth of that scale, and we get D. So our next note is D. And then we do the same with the D scale, and we get A, and you can keep going the whole way around the circle, applying that same technique with each scale, and you'll complete the circle of fifths. So that's what the basic model, that's how it's made up. There are things we can add to it, but that's what's going on theoretically from the start, okay? Now, we can use that scale to work out various things. First off, it can help us work out dominant chords really easily. That's the 5 chord. That's the chord that in any key gives you tension, really lovely tense kind of sound, because that's the interval that we're using. So if you take any key on the diagram and move one jump clockwise, then you get the dominant, the 5 chord of that chord. So for example, the dominant or the 5 chord of C is G. And if we take another random one, if we go to D flat, way down bottom right, then the 5 chord of that is A flat. So you can do that anywhere around. So that is often used for that. But we often also add a list of the sharps and the flats that make up any of those keys. So quickly, every different key has a certain number of sharp notes or flat notes that you could call the key signature of that key. And that informs you which notes are going to make up that key, so you can play the right notes, so you're playing in the right key. Now, often on a circle of fifths, that signature is added so that we know which sharps and flats are involved in each of those keys. So we can just pick a note around the circle of fifths and we know how many sharps or flats it's got. But we could also count around the circle of fifths to work out how many sharps or flats it would have. So for example, if we go from C, if we move clockwise, every step we go is an extra sharp note. So from C to G, the C scale has no sharps or flats. So if we go to G, that has 1 sharp, and then D has 2, A has 3, all the way round to F sharp at the bottom there. Now if we go back and go the other way, anti-clockwise, these are the flat keys, the keys with flat notes in them. So if we go from C to F, F has 1 flat, B flat has 2, E flat has 3, and so on. So it's often used for that. It can also be used for composition. So I really like this about the circle of fifths. The keys that sit together that are closest on the circle of fifths are the closest musically. They share the most notes. So every key has a different combination of sharps and flats, but if they're close together on that diagram, then they're going to be kind of cousins or siblings almost. The further away you get, the more different they are. So if, for example, we take C and G and F, they're all very close together on the circle of fifths. The F and G sit either side of the C. So if you put those chords together, they're going to sound good. They're going to fit together nicely and easily. They're not going to be too scary or weird. So it's an easy way of coming up with notes that work. Whereas if you took the key of C and then the key of F sharp, the complete other side of the circle of fifths, if you tried moving from one of those chords to the next, it's going to be a bit jarring. If you try and kind of put them together, it doesn't mean you can't, but it's going to be a bit risky. Okay, one more thing that's often added to this diagram is the relative minors. So I mentioned that every key has a certain combination of either sharps or flats that is particular to that key. But each major key has a relative minor. So what that means is that C major has a minor key that contains the same notes. It's just that you're starting on a different note, so it sounds different. And every key has one of those. Every major key has a relative minor. So often the circle of fifths on the inside of the circle adds those minor keys in, so you can use it again as a reference for relative keys, relative minor keys. So it's really, really useful for that. Okay, that's some of the really great things circle of fifths used for. For harmonica players specifically, we can use it really easily to work out positions. So the most common positions are second position, third position, and of course first position. So 1, 2, and 3. First position we don't really need the circle of fifths for, because first position you're just playing in the key of the key harmonica you're using. So if you're using a C harmonica, you're playing in the key of C, easy, we don't need a diagram. If you're using an F, you're playing in the key of F, don't need a diagram. But every other position, you kind of need to know what you're doing. So we can work out second position really easily on the circle of fifths. You just jump along clockwise, one jump from the key of harmonica you're using. So if we've got a C harmonica and we want to play in second position, if we jump clockwise, then we're in the key of G. If we jump somewhere down the circle, if we go to E, let's say we've got an E harmonica, then if we jump clockwise to B, then we're playing in the key of B. And this works everywhere on the circle of fifths. So wherever you're starting from, you can just jump one step and you get to second position. So if you think of your key of harmonica as your home key, then that's first position, first kind of place, port of call, and you're just jumping to the second one. So obviously it's going to be second position. You can do that with third position, jump another step and you're third position. And if you keep going the whole way around, you can do that with all 12 positions. So let me give you an example. From C to G is second position, but then from C to D, D is third position on a C harmonica, and A would be fourth position, and E would be fifth, and B sixth, and so on. You can go the whole way around the circle of fifths, and that would give you the 12 positions of your harmonica. The advantage of using the circle of fifths over kind of a table is to know all 12 keys and all 12 positions on those 12 keys. You need a massive table of layouts and it gets very messy. Whereas as long as you know the starting point on the circle of fifths, you can use it really quickly for any key of harmonica. So if you want to go the other way, and this is quite useful if someone tells you the song is in a certain key and then you need to work out what harmonica you're going to play, you think, oh, I want to play second position, you just go the other way around the circle of fifths. So you go anti-clockwise. So let's say they tell you the song is in the key of B flat. You don't want to go clockwise to F because that's the wrong way round. If you go the other way to E flat, then you know you need an E flat harmonica. Similarly, if you decide, they tell you the song's in B flat, but you decide you want to play in third position, you just go two steps round. So from B flat, E flat, A flat. And A flat is the harmonica you'd need to play in B flat in third position. So it works both ways. It's a really quick reference, and it's great to have one of these to hand to kind of work these things out quickly. So although there are lots of different ways of using the circle of fifths, that's the most interesting, I think, as a harmonica player, the best way to use it in terms of your working out your positions. Now, if you're a harmonica player who's maybe a bit scared of theory, but you think, oh, maybe I should know a little bit more, I've put together a crash course of what I think are the most important things to know in music theory. I only know what I need to know to get by, but I have learnt some stuff along the way. So if you'd like to know more about that, then check the link beneath the video. I've also put a free link to a downloadable circle of fifths and a few notes on there as well. If you've enjoyed this video, please remember to click like and share the video and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate you doing all of those things because it helps me to keep on making videos. It helps grow my channel as well. So do that if you've enjoyed the video. Until I see you again, enjoy your practice and I'll see you soon. Cheers.